There is a kind of power that never announces itself. It does not demand attention. It does not raise its voice, and it does not explain itself to be understood. Carl Jung spoke often about forces within the psyche that remain hidden, not because they are weak, but because they are too potent to live on the surface. This is the power that only rare women carry. It is not learned through imitation. It is not borrowed from culture. It is not something that can be performed. It emerges slowly, painfully, and often in solitude. Most women are taught to be visible in ways that make them acceptable. Smile more, speak softly, be agreeable, be desirable but not threatening, strong but not intimidating, emotional but not too deep. Jung understood that when a woman suppresses parts of her nature to survive, those parts do not disappear. They descend into the unconscious, and there they transform. The hidden power begins forming the moment. A woman realizes that being liked is not the same as being respected. It grows when she notices that the more she explains herself, the less she is understood. It strengthens when she stops asking for permission to exist as she is. This power is not loud. It does not chase validation. It does not argue its worth. It watches. It observes. It integrates. Jung believed that true strength comes from integration of the shadow, the parts of the self that were rejected, shamed, or denied expression. Rare women are not powerful because they are perfect. They are powerful because they have faced what others avoid. They have sat with their anger without becoming cruel. They have touched their sadness without collapsing into it. They have felt desire without letting it control them. They have known loneliness without abandoning themselves. There is something unsettling about a woman who is no longer trying to be chosen, not because she has closed her heart, but because she has anchored it within herself. She does not rush to fill silence. She does not perform emotional labor to keep others comfortable. Her presence feels dense, grounded, charged. People sense it before they understand it. This is the woman who has stopped leaking energy. Jung would say that psychic energy returns to the self when projections are withdrawn. When a woman stops projecting her worth onto lovers, approval onto authority, and meaning onto external success, something remarkable happens. She becomes internally cohesive. Her energy gathers instead of disperses, and gathered energy is magnetic. The hidden power is often mistaken for mystery, but it is not mystery for the sake of intrigue. It is depth that no longer needs to reveal itself to be validated. This woman has learned that not everyone deserves access to her inner world. She speaks less, not because she has nothing to say, but because she understands the weight of words. She listens more, not to absorb others' chaos, but to discern truth. Carl Jung warned that those who do not confront their unconscious will live it out as fate. Rare women do the opposite. They confront their inner world so thoroughly that life begins to respond differently to them. Patterns break. Dynamics shift. People either rise in their presence or slowly fall away. Not because she pushes them out, but because her energy no longer accommodates what is misaligned. This kind of woman is often misunderstood in her earlier years. She may be called too intense, too quiet, too emotional, too detached, too much or not enough. What others fail to see is that she is in the process of becoming whole. Individuation, as Jung called it, is not a socially rewarded journey. It often requires periods of isolation, confusion, and internal conflict. But on the other side of it is a woman who cannot be easily manipulated, rushed, or diminished. Her power shows in the way she responds rather than reacts, in the way she pauses instead of panicking, in the way she walks away without needing closure, in the way she allows others to reveal themselves fully without interrupting the process. She no longer needs to convince anyone of her value. She trusts the intelligence of time. Men feel this power before they understand it. Some are drawn to it, sensing depth and stability they have not yet cultivated within themselves. Others feel threatened because her presence exposes what they avoid facing in their own psyche. She does not dominate. She does not submit. She stands. This is not the power of control. It is the power of self-possession. Jung would say that when a woman integrates her animus, her inner masculine principle, She gains clarity, direction, and authority over her life without losing her softness. She becomes discerning without becoming rigid, loving without becoming self-sacrificing, strong without becoming hardened. The hidden power also lives in her relationship with desire. She no longer uses desire to seek validation, nor does she suppress it out of fear. She understands desire as creative life force. It fuels her work, her presence, her boundaries. It is contained, not chaotic, directed, not desperate. There is a quiet confidence in a woman who knows she can survive loss, disappointment, and solitude. This confidence cannot be faked. It is etched into her nervous system. She has been to the depths and returned with herself intact. She does not cling. She does not beg. She does not collapse when things end. She grieves, integrates, and continues. Jung believed that the psyche seeks wholeness above happiness. Rare women understand this intuitively. They do not chase constant pleasure. They seek meaning, and meaning gives them a gravity that cannot be ignored. When they speak, people listen. When they leave, they are felt. When they choose, it is intentional. This is why their silence is powerful. It is not avoidance. It is containment. It is knowing that not every thought needs expression. Not every emotion needs performance. Not every connection needs continuation. Their boundaries are energetic before they are verbal. The hidden power also protects. It knows when to open and when to close, when to nurture and when to withdraw. This woman does not give endlessly. She gives wisely. She understands reciprocity at a cellular level, and when something drains her, she steps back without guilt. Carl Jung once said that the most terrifying thing is to accept oneself completely. Rare women do this slowly, bravely, and honestly. And in doing so, they become something society cannot easily categorize. They are feminine without being fragile, strong without being aggressive, soft without being weak, present without being loud. This power cannot be taken. It cannot be taught quickly. It cannot be borrowed through aesthetics or words. It is earned through self-confrontation, inner honesty, and the willingness to stand alone when necessary. And once it is embodied, it changes everything. People may not always like her, but they remember her. They feel altered by her presence, because she does not seek to be seen. She simply is. And that is the hidden power only rare women carry. As this woman continues her journey inward, something subtle yet irreversible occurs. She stops negotiating with life. She no longer tries to bend herself to fit situations that diminish her essence. Jung spoke of the danger of over-adaptation, the slow erosion of the self when one lives too long according to expectations rather than truth. Rare women reach a moment when adaptation feels more painful than authenticity. At that point, they choose themselves not out of selfishness, but out of necessity. This choice does not come with fireworks. It arrives quietly, often after exhaustion, after disappointment, after one too many moments of feeling unseen while giving everything. The nervous system learns that overgiving is not love, and silence becomes safer than explanation. This is when her energy shifts. She becomes internally oriented rather than externally reactive. Her center of gravity moves inward. From this place, she no longer confuses intensity with intimacy. She understands that chaos is not passion and unpredictability is not depth. Jung believed that the psyche seeks balance, and that attraction without grounding leads to repetition rather than growth. Rare women begin to recognize patterns not only in others, but within themselves. And instead of blaming or shaming, they observe. Observation is one of her greatest powers. She watches how people respond to boundaries. She notices who grows closer when she becomes calmer, and who pulls away when she stops performing. She learns that discomfort in others is not a signal that she is wrong. Often, it is a signal that she has stopped enabling projections. Projection is central to Jungian psychology. We fall in love not with who someone is, but with who they represent within our unconscious. Rare women reclaim their projections. They stop assigning their inner masculine strength to men. They stop assigning safety to relationships. They stop assigning purpose to being chosen. And as these projections return home, she becomes whole. Wholeness changes how she moves through the world. She walks slower, speaks less, chooses carefully, She no longer floods conversations with vulnerability, hoping to be met. She waits. And waiting reveals everything. Those who are capable rise. Those who are not fade. She lets this happen without force. Her emotions no longer overwhelm her. Not because she feels less, but because she has learned how to hold herself. Jung believed that emotions become destructive only when they are unconscious. Conscious emotion becomes wisdom. This woman allows herself to feel fully without losing her center. She can feel longing without chasing, sadness without collapsing, anger without destroying, joy without attachment. There is a dignity in this containment. It is deeply feminine yet profoundly powerful. This is not the femininity of submission, nor the masculinity of domination. It is the integration of both. The soft strength that does not waver. The receptive presence that cannot be manipulated. People often misunderstand her boundaries as coldness. They mistake her discernment for disinterest. They assume her silence means weakness. Jung would say this is the shadow response of those confronted with individuation. When someone becomes whole, it disrupts unconscious dynamics. Those who benefit from imbalance feel unsettled. She no longer explains herself to be understood. She trusts resonance. If someone misunderstands her, she allows it. If someone leaves, she lets them go. This does not mean she does not care. It means she respects reality. She understands that clarity does not require persuasion. Her relationships become fewer but deeper. She values presence over performance, consistency over intensity, emotional maturity over charm. She no longer chases potential. She responds to reality. This alone changes her life trajectory. Jung wrote that the meeting of two personalities is like the contact of two chemical substances. If there is any reaction, both are transformed. Rare women no longer seek transformation through others. They seek alignment, and alignment brings peace. Her power is also deeply spiritual, though not always religious. She feels guided by an inner compass. Intuition sharpens when noise fades. She trusts her body, her gut, her timing. She no longer rushes because she understands that what is meant for her will meet her at her pace. This woman has learned that waiting is not passive. It is selective. She waits because she can, because she is not desperate for completion, because she is already whole. This wholeness radiates. It does not demand. It invites. Those who enter her life feel it immediately. Conversations slow down. Masks slip. Truth surfaces. Her presence creates space for honesty, not because she demands it, but because she embodies it. People either rise into authenticity or retreat into avoidance. She has also made peace with solitude. Jung believed solitude was essential for individuation. Rare women no longer fear being alone. They fear betraying themselves. Solitude becomes restorative rather than empty. In silence, she hears herself clearly. Her creativity deepens. Her thoughts become original rather than reactive. She creates not to be seen, but because something within her needs expression. And paradoxically, this makes her more visible than ever. This is why their power feels ancient, timeless, as though it did not originate in this lifetime alone. They carry the memory of endurance, of restraint, of depth. Their eyes hold stories they no longer need to tell. They do not fear being misunderstood. They fear losing alignment, and so they choose truth even when it costs them comfort. This choice strengthens their spine, energetically and psychologically. The world does not always reward such women immediately, but life eventually responds. Opportunities align, relationships stabilize, purpose clarifies, not because she chased outcomes, but because she became congruent. Carl Jung believed that when the soul is ignored, it speaks through symptoms. Rare women listen before symptoms become suffering. They honor their inner signals. Fatigue becomes information. Discomfort becomes guidance. Resistance becomes wisdom. And so they age differently, not just physically but energetically. They grow more rooted, more luminous, more sovereign. Their beauty is not frantic. It is calm. It does not plead. It commands quietly. This is the hidden power only rare women carry. Not the power to control others, but the power to remain intact in a world that profits from fragmentation. The power to stay present without shrinking, to love without losing oneself, to stand without hardening, And when she finally looks back, she realizes something profound. The struggle was not meant to break her. It was meant to refine her. The loneliness was not punishment. It was preparation. The confusion was not failure. It was initiation. She is no longer becoming. She is being, and in that being, she changes everything she touches. This is the end of seeking. This is the beginning of embodiment. And this is why her power remains hidden, because it does not need to be seen to be felt. To watch more videos like this, hit like and subscribe button, and to support my work further, you can buy me a coffee with the link given in description.